RVer or van dweller, or just an enthusiast who doesn't mind a little cold weather and snow. Well, winter RV living or winter van dwelling is definitely not for the faint of heart. With the colder weather and the shorter days and the long cold nights, it can be a little challenging sometimes, especially if you're a boondocker or live off-grid like I do. Today, I'm going to introduce you to three things that make my wintertime RV living a little more comfortable and a little easier. So stay tuned. I've got some things that you're going to like.
Nobody gonna do it for you. Got to mind your own.
Hi friendlies, I'm Carolyn and welcome back to my RV life. And I am a full-time RVer, been living in my RV now for almost 4 years, and that means I live in my RV even in the winter. And what makes things even a little more challenging is I mostly live off-grid, boondocking and living in dispersed camping areas in national forests and other public lands. If you're like me and you're living in an RV and you're looking for ways to make winter time a little bit more comfortable, or maybe you're aspiring to live in an RV or van and you're making up, you're doing all your planning and making notes about how to make the most out of your RV living adventure, then you're really going to want to hear about these three things that I have found to make my life more comfortable. The first thing I'm going to talk to you about is this Suwaki portable generator power station. Now, I was first introduced to this brand a couple years ago when they sent me a smaller version of this, and I really enjoyed using it. It comes in really handy in the winter. In the winter time, even though I've got like 360 watts of solar and 2 golf cart batteries, that's plenty in the summer. In fact, I have plenty of solar for the summer, and eventually what I would like to do is probably install more battery because I end up floating on my power by midday in the summer when I have plenty of sun, which means I have excess power. With my 350 watts of solar, I have excess power than what I'm using. And I don't have the battery power to store it. But in the winter, with the shorter days, it's getting dark at 5 o'clock and I stop pulling any solar. I'm going to get to that in a minute, but I pretty much stopped pulling any solar at about 4 o'clock because the sun is so low. And so that means I'm getting 4 hours less of solar feeding my battery. And so that means that in the winter time, if I want to work after dark, using my laptop, if I want to watch TV after dark, running my laptop, and also because it's colder, I need to run my heat a little bit at night sometimes, usually first thing in the morning, but sometimes at night. And I don't run it a lot, but because the fan on it really does take a lot of power, then I have to use my generator because I don't have enough battery power and solar power for that. This extra battery, this portable power station, really comes in handy. It's a 400 watt hour portable generator. So they call it a generator, but it's really a battery. And so it's super quiet, unlike a generator. I mean, you don't hear it at all when you're using it. It's got a 300 watt AC/DC inverter built into it. It's got a 12 volt car output. It's got USB. It's got 4 USB outputs, and it's also got 110 volt outputs. So I can plug my laptop into this and run my laptop for hours and hours on a full charge. And the nice thing about this is it also comes with alligator clamps. You can jump start a 4-liter car. If your battery goes dead on a 4-liter car, it won't jump start my RV. My RV is 6.8 liter engine. And it's too big, it won't jump start that. But a regular anything under 4 liters, it'll jump start. So that's also another benefit to this. Another thing that I really love about this is that I can charge it 3 ways. I can charge it in an electrical outlet, so I can just plug it into the power strip that I have plugged into my inverter, and I can charge this when I have full sun during the day. I can charge it, with my solar and my batteries. I will say though that it does really, really take a lot of power to charge it that way. This is with the battery plugged in. And this is just a few minutes of unplugging the Suwaki power bank. So the Suwaki draws about 56 watts, which is quite a lot for 2 6-volt golf cart batteries. and it kind of competes with my laptop. I actually can't plug them both in at the same time, so I can't charge this and run my laptop. I might need a new inverter. My inverter can't handle it. But I was in a RV park the other day, and I plugged it in, and it charged overnight, and I had a full charge on it, and I was able to use it for 2 or 3 days after dark running my laptop, and it was great. So you can plug it in if you still live in a sticks and bricks and you're going camping or whatever, you know, just plug it in before you leave, and you've got a lot of power here. It's really good. You can also power it by USB or by the cigarette lighter in your car. So you just plug this into your cigarette lighter and plug this in here, and you can charge this while you drive. You do have to be driving for it to power up, but that's another way to charge it. You can also charge it by solar. So I can plug this into my my solar panel. I have a flexible solar panel. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, and I can charge it that way too. And I know you're supposed to drain it all the way and then charge it all the way, but in with my setup in my life, that's kind of hard to do. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just use because the 260 watts that I have on the roof are usually enough to power my rig, and I don't need the extra 100 watts to power my rig, so I'll just plug this into the extra 100 watt flexible solar panel and let this just sit outside and charge all day, but it won't get a full charge. It'll get like 3 bars, and then I can use it for a few days and drain it, and then I can plug it in again. So you know, having a battery like this really is a lifesaver during the winter months, because again, with my setup, if you have a setup similar to mine, you just have 2 batteries, and you know, however much solar you have, that's not necessarily enough to run everything that you need to run after dark, because we've got 14-hour nights right now. So this has really, really been helpful. It's got a nice LCD display here. So you turn it on, and you can see how many bars you have. I also really like it because it tells you when you plug it in how many watts of power are being input into it. And then when you turn on the AC, like if I plug in my laptop, I know that my laptop is pulling, you know, 50 watts or whatever, 50 watts of power from it or something like that. So it's got a really nice readout that'll show you what you're putting in and what you're taking out of the battery. They say that you can get up to 500 cycles in the life of the battery if you use it the way it's meant to be used, and that is to fill it all the way, drain it all the way, fill it all the way, drain it all the way. So that's the optimal use. You'll get 500 cycles out of this for a lifetime, and for 2 months or whatever, if you're using it every day, you know, it can last you a few years even if you're using it every day, because I can't imagine, depending on what you're plugging into it, I can't imagine that you would go through a full battery in a day, unless you're, because like I said, I have a high-powered gaming laptop. It's an Alienware, and I have that specifically. I needed that for editing, for my editing software, and it does pull a lot when I'm editing especially, and I can probably get about 10 hours on this, running my laptop about 10 hours. And that's really the only thing I plug into this. And then, so after dark, what I'll do is I'll turn off my inverter, I'll unplug my laptop when I'm not getting solar anymore, and plug it into this to save my power in my battery, in my RV battery, my house battery, in case I need to run the heat. And that's really what I want to save my battery, my house battery power for, is to run the furnace at night. This goes for $339 on Amazon. I will put a link in the description below to Amazon, and if you click on the link below, you'll also get a special deal. They're giving away a discount for anyone who buys this, who watches this video today and clicks on the link below. So I definitely think it's worth it. Like I said, I had a smaller one that lasted me a couple years. The one thing I will say about these is you have to be careful about the cords. The cords seem to break kind of easily, so just be careful. This end, you know, this might pull apart when you unplug it. This might kind of pull apart. I'm really, really hard on everything. All of my cords are damaged. They're coming apart because I just yank stuff. I'm just really hard on stuff. So if you're hard on stuff like me, just be mindful. You need to be careful. These aren't meant to be beat up. So just be careful about that. That's the Suwaki 400 watt portable generator power station, and this is a lifesaver for me, or any external battery like this is really a lifesaver for me during these winter months of RV living. And the next thing I want to talk to you about that's really a lifesaver for me in the winter months as a full-time winter RV liver, van dweller, whatever you want to call it, is this flexible solar panel. When I had my solar installed in my rig, I had I think Discount Solar in Quartzsite, Arizona. I had them install some plug-and-plays for me outside my rig. I've got 2 panels on my roof totaling 260 watts, but I wanted another panel that I could move around, that was lightweight, it's flexible, it's super lightweight. See, it's flexible, I mean, I can pick this up, anybody probably can pick this up, it's super lightweight, and I wanted this extra panel so that I could chase the sun. And that became an issue for me when I was traveling east of the Mississippi and there was tree cover everywhere. It's really hard to get a full 8, 10, 12 hours of sun in some places, and sometimes even when it's hot, I want to park in the shade. And so having a flexible solar panel on, I think a 20-foot cord I have on it outside, I can park in the shade if I want and still get some solar feeding my batteries. Or this time of year, what I really like about it is that at the end of the day, I said earlier that I pretty much stop getting power into my batteries when the sun starts setting because it's not hitting the solar panels on my roof. I can go up there and tilt the panels. I'm not always in the right position, and sometimes that's just a pain in the butt. And frankly, I think the year that I've had my solar panels, I just went up there and attached all the hardware to be able to tilt them like a month ago. And I've done that twice now, I think. And it really does help. But I don't always want to go up there. If it's windy, if it's cold, it's raining, if I'm only going to be in a spot a day, I'm not going to do that. So this flexible solar panel is really a lifesaver. I can put it out in the morning. Yeah, I get a couple amps of sun feeding my battery. And again, in the morning it's cold. I want to turn on my heat. So I go out, I position my panel. I'm already pulling some sun before it even hits the panels on my roof. And same at the end of the day. I can put this on a chair, I can tilt it up, and I'm getting a couple amps extra of solar power feeding my battery that I wouldn't normally be getting because the sun is not hitting the panels on my roof. So I think for winter RVing or winter, even if you're a van dweller, I think having a flexible solar panel is really helpful for really maximizing the sun power that you're getting and putting as much in your batteries as you can. I think every little bit helps to feed my batteries, especially, like I said, especially in the winter when I want to run the heat. I want to make sure I'm just keeping my batteries healthy, and so I don't like seeing them get below 12. And sometimes when I turn on the heat, you know, the fan will go on and I see the battery go to like 11.9 and I'm like, oh no. So I like to make sure my battery is as full as possible once it gets dark, and having the flexible solar panel really does help me, you know, squeeze every ray of sun out of the sky and into my battery. So the second tip for winter RV living is to get a flexible solar panel. And this one, I usually get the Renogy, which are $229, and I've already been through a couple. Again, I'm really hard on stuff. This time I decided, instead of spending $229, knowing darn well they don't last that long for me because I'm hard on things, I went ahead and just went with the cheap Chinese version. And I've had it for 2 or 3 months now. Yeah, it got sent to me, I think, up in Oregon, and it's been pretty good. It's been fine so far. The power, I'm getting all the power, I think, that I got out of the Renogy, and haven't had any problems. You know, it's still going strong, but I think they usually last me about a year. So we'll see how the cheap Chinese version does. And that one was only $129 versus $229 for the Renogy. So that's my flexible solar panel tip for winter for successful and comfortable RV living. Okay, the third thing that I'm going to show you is something that I just bought. Everybody pretty much is familiar with Lucy Light. It's just a little solar light that really comes in handy, again, for saving power at night. My lights actually I don't like the light that they put out. Even with the energy efficient, the yellow light instead of the glaring white. I did buy the ones, what are they called? The energy efficient ones, you know. Even the yellow light is too bright for me, and it's all overhead. It's just not very pretty. And so I on a whim one day, I was like, I wonder if they make a Lucy light that has more of a yellow light. And I found this, and I don't know if you can see. Maybe I'll do some B-roll when it's dark. It flickers like a candle. And I really love this. I mean, what was it? Under 20 bucks? And it really just gives a really nice ambiance in here. I also have some rope lights that I have hung up here. And I have some colored rope lights back in the bed area. And so when I'm reading at night on my phone, I turn this on. And it's just a really nice, comfortable light. Really just cozy and comfy and mellow, and I really like it. They also have different colors, which I didn't know about. They have blue, they have a red one, I think. They have one that changes colors, and it's really nice because I just put it in my window facing the sun during the day, and then at night I have a light. And again, so with this light and my battery powered rope lights, rechargeable batteries that I use in those AA batteries, I'm not pulling power, I'm not pulling amps from my house battery. So again, I'm saving on the power there, conserving power for where I really need it in my heat. Okay, so those are the 3 things that I use for winter RV living that help make my life more comfortable, more relaxed, easier, extending the life of my battery so that I can continue to work. And for these really, really long nights, you know, there's not much else to do but sit in here and watch TV, you know, so I do use my laptop a lot at night. So I hope you found that helpful, and links to everything that you see here will be in the description of this video. I'll also probably pin a comment here. And just a reminder that every time you shop Amazon through my link, all you have to do is click on my link, and anything that you buy by going in through my link, I earn a small commission on. You can just enter Amazon through my store and it'll look like this. And then you just go up here to the top and you search for whatever it is that you want to shop. And shop as you normally would. And I earn a small commission on everything that you purchase. You don't even, it doesn't cost you a thing. It's absolutely free to you. The commission comes out of Amazon's pocket, so it's a great way to support my channel and help keep my videos alive and free. Also, by going to my store, you can see some of my favorite things. So things that you see in videos, I've got different categories here, all of my favorite RV things in one spot, all of my YouTube video and camera gear, and my hiking and backpacking favorites. So just click on one of these if you want to see some of the things that I have shown you in my videos, or even some of the things you might see in the background, and you can just shop here. I really appreciate you all being here. I'm really honored that you invite me into your lives and into your homes, and I will see you next time. In the meantime, be happy, be free, and be kind. Mwah. See ya.